yes, you can find your art style in 3 simple steps. Number 1, experiment with different mediums. I just started off with bottles of craft paint from Walmart and cheap brushes. I used those for years. I just experimented and painted on all different surfaces until I realized that dealing with babies and work and life was just too much for me at the moment. So all the paint dried up and I ended up just throwing them away for lack of use. After several years and babies leaving the nest, I decided to experiment with some other mediums. I tried different things. I used acrylics before, so I tried acrylics again. Then I found watercolor. Oh my gosh, it set off a whole new world for me. So then I just kept experimenting, but I kept my watercolors. I tried some acrylic inks and, try different mediums. They're going to give you some good information about yourself and what you like. So just pick up a cheap sketchbook and just start painting. That's one thing you can do. Try some watercolor markers. There's some affordable, great watercolor markers out there and real brush pens that just let you explore different ways of putting marks on the paper. This one was kind of in between. It's kind of in between a marker and watercolor, because I just made a tree and put the markers down, made some marks, and then just took some water and dissolved it all. It's just really cool. It's really fun and it brings you joy, and it's a fun process to figure out. So the next thing to do is to paint from life. Paint what you see. Pick things from life that you would want to see in a painting. I started with flowers and trees, and I painted until I understood the properties of watercolor paints. Sometimes I added ink pen, and then I still went back to other supplies to see if I liked them. I just kept practicing until I understood the properties of all these materials and brushes and paper and water control. I figured out what colors I liked, what things I liked to paint, and decided what brands of paints. I decided what materials were best for me. I started a sketchbook. Correction. I started many sketchbooks and practiced. Now, when do you find out if you like your artistic style or not? Or have you found it? So when you paint something in that style, then you will end up liking your artwork. And, I just paint everything I see. If I can't paint it right then, I'll take a picture of it and then I'll paint it later. But sometimes I'll sketch it right away and then paint it later. Mostly I like to go in with big marks and then, big brush strokes and paint things real loose and then go tighten things up later on. It is a fun process. I found that I really enjoy sketchbook work. I also enjoy working in a limited palette. I'm also enjoying working small, even painting 1 or 3 flowers rather than a whole bouquet. I enjoy using a micron ink and going over my watercolor at the very end of the painting. So, you know, you do you. So in conclusion, I would say to yourself, and when you find something that works, do more of it, and your style will shine through.